I've started this one now, so now I've got to continue it. Vlad the Impaler Part 2. So where I left off, Vlad was still pretty young, and he and his brother Radu were honored guests of the Ottoman court. And as I mentioned, little Vlad did not like this, but Radu didn't mind it. But it's what happened next in Wallachia that really made things take a turn. You see, Big Vlad, Dad Vlad, had to make favorable terms with the Sultan Murad because he was holding his sons. But because of this, John Hunyadi from Hungary went, "We don't really need allies helping out the Turks, so we're going to remove you." And this is when the Danesti, the rivals to the Draculesti, Vlad's faction, staged a rebellion to remove him from power. How do they do this? Well, first they captured Vlad's heir, Macheya, and burned out his eyes and buried him alive. Then when Dad Vlad tried to flee Targoviste, they captured him and killed him. And then after a little while, John Hunyadi bestowed the position of voivode on Vladislav II of the Danesti. There's then this story about, which is probably made up, of a retainer of Vlad Dracul carrying his sword and insignia of the Order of the Dragon to young Vlad, who then swears dark vengeance. We've got no proof of this, but it makes a good story. What is certain is in 1448, Sultan Murad released Vlad from captivity. Why? Because it was hoped that Vlad would retake Wallachia and be an ally to the Turks. How was he going to do this? He had no money and no army, and he hadn't been in Wallachia for years. No one knew who he was. But later that year, the Ottomans and the Hungarians clashed at Kosovo, which was a devastating loss for the Christians. Who was at this battle? Vladislav of the Danesti. So while he was away from Wallachia, Vlad's just like, "Just gonna scooch in and take your throne." Vladislav comes back, he's just like, what are you doing? Get out of my house! Vlad couldn't hold the city, so he has to flee back to the Ottoman court. But because the Hungarians had lost the battle, Vladislav was sort of like, "I don't really want the Turks to invade me, so I'm going to seek terms with them." If he sought terms with the Turks, they didn't need Vlad anymore. So Vlad has to flee, so he flees to Moldavia. The next bit, it's hard to explain. Because there's a lot of Vlad running from town to town to escape, Vladislav and Hunyadi. Plus there's a whole side quest with Moldavian usurpation politics, and Vladislav's loyalty yo-yoing between the Ottomans and Hunyadi. Around the same time that Vladislav was growing a bit too close to the Turks for Hunyadi's comfort, who shows up at Hunyadi's household? Vlad Dracula. It's a weird situation because Dracula is now in the service of the guy who organized the coup that killed his father against the people that Hunyadi used to kill his father. Politics at this time was enough to give you whiplash. And around the same time, Vlad Dracula swore fealty to the King of Hungary. But then, politics took a dramatic shift because the Ottomans now had a new sultan, Mehmed II, the Conqueror. And in 1453, Mehmed did what was considered impossible. He conquered Constantinople. The conquering of Constantinople was a cataclysmic shift in history and the politics of the region. And come back for part 3.